It's been a little over 6 years since The Sims 4 was first released, and despite players speaking up very loudly about the things we want in the game, there are still so many things missing that have been staples in the previous games. Let's take a look at some of the things we're missing most. The first thing that we've been missing in The Sims 4 and we did not get in 2020 is burglars and police NPCs. Burglars were present in The Sims 1, 2, and 3, but this beloved NPC type is strangely still missing from The Sims 4. It's another reason the game feels safe, like too safe. The Sims 4 is a utopia where bad things never happen, and even a lighthearted burglary seems too much to add. Most players are really missing burglars in The Sims 4, so let's watch a burglary go down in The Sims 2 to remind us of what we love about them. Here we have Gordon King breaking into the Caliente household, which he does. And he's gonna run in and try to steal the exercise equipment, but luckily we have a burglar alarm here, so our police officer Benjamin Long is on the scene. Next time, burglar, next time you're going down. So he didn't catch him. In The Sims 2, police officers, they usually come in and fight the burglar and they can catch them or the burglar can get away. This time Gordon got away from us. This kind of goes along with burglars in The Sims 4, but we also don't have police NPCs. Now, we have detectives that are part of the Get to Work expansion, but it's not really the same thing as having the police officers show up on your lot like they do in The Sims 2 and coming in to fight the burglar or assist the family. This is something that I think we might actually have a chance to get in the future. I think these could be added in without too much trouble. My guess, though, is that they are going to add in police officers who just show up on foot instead of actually having them show up in a police cruiser, kind of like they did with the firefighters. That's my prediction. In my last video comparing firefighters in all the Sims games, I was very disappointed that we didn't get fire trucks in The Sims 4. Instead, the firefighters just show up on foot like they do in The Sims 1. I know we don't even have an open world or even drivable cars, but when firefighters were patched in, I was really expecting to at least have a little fire truck or something. I also don't think this is something we will ever get in The Sims 4. But I still felt it was worth mentioning because it's something that people often say that they miss in the game. In The Sims 2 here, we had the big fire engine that shows up whenever your sim has a fire. Here it is. It shows up like immediately too if you have a fire alarm, and then the firefighter gets out, runs in, and puts out the fire, and they are very good at it too. They get the fire put out in record time and it's all done, and then they go back to the fire engine. So in The Sims 4, the firefighters are a little bit iffy on whether or not they're going to put out your fires. Some people say they don't work very well, they just stand around. So I think actually another thing we didn't get is good firefighters, although we do have them, so it's better than nothing. So this is kind of related to the last point about fire trucks, but we still don't have cars in The Sims 4 after 6 years. This is another one that I don't know if we'll ever get. The worlds in The Sims 4 were never meant to have cars, and it shows. I was thinking about this the other day, and they would have to do so much work removing clutter from all the lots in all the worlds to make them ready for driveways and parking lots. Look at this lot, for example. Right in front of this lot in Willow Creek, there are 2 streetlights and a bunch of like plants right here. There's no place that you could even put a car on this lot. It's possible maybe, depending on the size of the driveways, we could like move the house over a little bit and put a driveway here, but there's like no place for it to back out into the road. It may not seem like much to us, but think about fixing every single lot in every single world to accommodate cars. And I'm afraid we'll never get them, but I do want them so much, and I know that this is a big one on many simmers' wish list. So I'm hoping that because so many people have been demanding cars over the years that maybe they will take the time to give us this feature. I think cars in The Sims 4 could function much like cars in The Sims 2, driving in and out of neighborhoods to travel. They're already decorative cars in the game, so maybe they could follow the same route. Let's look at how cars work in The Sims 2. I really think they could do something similar in The Sims 4. Let's have Darren Dreamer here go somewhere in his car. My only fear is that we would get cars, but they're probably going to teleport the Sims inside. I don't think we're ever going to get this really good animation of the Sim getting into the car and closing the door again, like we had in The Sims 2. And then they back out, and drive away to the lot. That's how I think they could do cars in The Sims 4, but I'd be happy even if there was just a car on the lot and your sim teleported into it and drove away. At least we could have cars that way. So then we get a loading screen, and then you see your sim pull up to the lot that they've driven to. And they just stop in the street in The Sims 2. I mean, I feel like we could do that in The Sims 4 as well. What I would really like is to have parking lots, kind of like we did in The Sims 3. But I'm not going to hold my breath for that. Another thing is we also don't have carpools and school buses in The Sims 4. Again, I think we'd have to have cars before we would get something like that, and it's probably not feasible. We had exterminators in The Sims 1 and 2, but they were absent in The Sims 3. I really hope they'll return in The Sims 4, especially now that we have the roaches. I always like having different NPCs, and I really miss the exterminators from The Sims 2. There's nothing like seeing the exterminators show up in their yellow jumpsuit and spray the roaches away with their green poison gas. So next up is memories. A few weeks ago, I started a campaign on social media to try and get memories fixed for us. I've now realized that that's never going to happen. The current memory system is terrible, and it's completely tied to screenshots, as you can see here. The Sims developers have said that they have no intention of bringing screenshot capability to consoles, which leads me to believe they have no intention of giving us memories, because that would require them adding screenshots to consoles. Our only hope now is to get a completely new memory system that's not tied to screenshots. But I think the chances of that happening are very slim. I believe sentiments were their attempt at giving us some sort of memories in The Sims 4, and they really missed the mark with that one. I think this will still be on the list at the end of 2021. Next is chemistry and attraction. We still don't have a proper attraction system in The Sims 4, which is really disappointing, and probably one of my most wished for features. Luckily, Wonderful Whims is an amazing mod that helps plug this gap in gameplay for me. And honestly, if they released an official attraction system, I don't think it would be as good as the mod. But for console players and people who don't use or know about mods, I really hope we get some kind of attraction system in the game. I loved both the system in The Sims 2 and The Sims 3. In Sims 2, it was so much fun to try to find a 3-bolter for your sim to marry. And in The Sims 3, I love getting the little sound effect that your sim had found attractive company and you knew that there was another sim they were attracted to. It's nice to give your sim some autonomy over their romantic partners instead of just forcing them into any old romantic relationship, because it's super easy to do in The Sims 4. You can basically just get together with anybody. It might add some actual challenge to romance in The Sims 4 if we had an attraction system. We still have no way to create our own worlds in The Sims 4. This is a big disappointment to me because I really like to create my own worlds in The Sims. We can bulldoze all the lots and rebuild on them, but it's just not the same as being able to create your own world from scratch. Because of the way the worlds are made in The Sims 4 with very little customization options, we can't add any more lots or move them around or anything like that. I seriously doubt we're ever going to get world creation tools. In Sims 2, we got world creation tools just built into the game right from the start, and you could really build your world up exactly how you wanted it from scratch. Everything from the map to the lots that you added, everything. In The Sims 3, we had a world creation tool that was released several months after the release of the base game. It was an external tool, and it was a little clunky to use. It's not very user-friendly, but it was very possible to create your own worlds in The Sims 3. In The Sims 4, we just have nothing comparable at all. The closest thing we ever got in The Sims 4 is Newcrest, which is the empty world they gave us. And, you know, it's an empty world that you can build all your lots on, but it still gives us no customization as far as the actual world. We can't add or remove lots, add any kind of decor. After 6 years into The Sims 4, I don't think we're going to be getting world creation, even though it's something that a lot of people really want. We still don't have sliders for hair and eye color in The Sims 4 as of 2020. This is not something I ever thought I would add to this list of things we don't have, but with a recent skin tone update that gave us sliders for skin tones and even sliders for makeup, I think it's very possible that we might get sliders for hair and eye color in the future. This isn't personally something I care about too much. I'm actually really happy with the hair colors that we have. I only use these first 7, but I'm a Sims 2 player, so I'm used to it being simple. But I can see the appeal of having hair color sliders, and I do think that's something they're going to give us because people have been very vocal about it. I think it would be nice to have sliders for the eye colors. We also have a pretty advanced sliders and color wheel for pet coats. So I'm hoping that this is something they can sort of incorporate into other areas of Create a Sim, especially hair and eyes. So I've seen many players on Twitter and YouTube express the desire for these sliders, and I think it's something EA might actually listen to. So we'll just have to wait and see what 2021 brings. I normally wouldn't consider this feature as part of a list like this, but the player base has been so vocal about their desire to have liberated babies that I thought I just had to add it. And I also think it's a possibility that it might really happen. I've seen sim gurus mention this feature, not to say that it's coming, but to acknowledge that people have asked for it. And I wouldn't be surprised if they're working on babies for 2021. I'll see you in next year's list, and hopefully upgraded babies will not still be on it. If you're not familiar with babies in The Sims 4, they are tied to their bassinets. You can't take them out except for to cuddle them or feed them, but then they go right back into the bassinet. You can't move them away. So you can't carry them around and move them around the house like you could in The Sims 2 and The Sims 3. They're just sort of objects that you can feed, change their diaper, or play with. And if you bulldoze the lot, the baby will show up in your family inventory like any other object on the lot. A lot of people really want more gameplay with babies. They want them to be freed from their bassinets and made more playable like they were in the previous games. And I don't think it's out of the question for something we might get in the future. Another long wished for item in The Sims 4 that we still don't have in 2020 is bunk beds. We had them in The Sims 3 and they were awesome, but still no mention of them for The Sims 4. There are modded bunk beds out there you can get if you're really just jonesing for a bunk bed. But if you want an official bunk bed object, you are out of luck. This is something I also think we'll get eventually, just because the community's been so vocal about it, and I've also seen it acknowledged by sim gurus. But it's not something we have yet, unfortunately. You can also use the new platform feature that came with the Snowy Escape patch to create a pseudo bunk bed if you like, but it's still not the same as having an actual bunk bed. These are the top 10 things that I personally think are missing from The Sims 4 after 6 years, but there are many more things that are not in the game that a lot of players want to see or that were present in the older games and still haven't made their way to The Sims 4. As I was doing my research for this video, I found a really interesting list that somebody posted on The Sims Reddit. Some of the stuff on this list has been added in since this was posted 4 months ago, but a lot of this stuff we still don't have. I already covered burglars and police officers, but their social workers is another type of NPC that we still don't have. Trash compactors and food processors. We don't have diving boards, a pond or water tool. Carpools and school buses, we kind of already went over that. Zodiac signs, which I think they could add in as part of a chemistry or attraction system, or I hope they will. We don't have auto roof tools. Now, auto roof is a thing that I don't really think The Sims 4 needs, and I don't think we'll ever get it either, just because of the way the roofs work. Dance together facing each other. This was something I didn't even realize we didn't have, but it would be really cool to have back. Newspaper service and landline phones we don't have, and I don't think they're going to add those in. I think those are seen as sort of like old school, and most people don't have landlines or newspapers anymore, so I don't think they'll ever add those in. We don't have alarm clocks. We don't have burglar alarms, of course, because we don't have burglars. Personal bios for Sims. This is something I would desperately like to have back. And now that we have the new expanded Sim bios that you can open up, I really feel like that would be a good place to allow you to write a little bio for each of your individual Sims. Doorbells. We don't have doorbells. That would be really cool to see back. And unique personalities. Yes, please give us unique personalities. Okay, then we've got features included in both Sims 2 and Sims 3 base game, but absent in The Sims 4. We've got, okay, so this is all world creation stuff right here. Ability to add, delete lots, trees, neighborhoods. That's all world creation. Collection folders. We don't have collection folders in The Sims 4. This is something I'm not so sure that we need since we have the search tool, but it is something that's missing. Constrained floor elevation sheet is another thing we don't have. We still don't have the ability to paint ceiling tiles, although this is something I've seen acknowledged by sim gurus, so I think we may be getting this. We still don't have spiral stairs. We did get a platform tool with Snowy Escape. The ability to add railing only on one side of the stairs, God help me, I need that. Okay, object babies, we went over that. Teenagers and elders that have a different body mesh. Again, I don't think that's something we have a chance of getting. I think it's pretty much set in stone. Chemistry and attraction. Normal telescopes. Thank you. The gigantic telescope is so incredibly frustrating. I don't know why we can't just have a normal telescope. Please give us a normal telescope. Cuddling and relaxing in bed are other things that I really miss. Cuddling while sleeping, stargazing. Children can play tag. Sims can play catch. A toy oven. We are missing a toy oven. Urinals, cribs. You know, we don't have cribs because the babies are tied to their bassinets, so that makes sense. I think if we ever get liberated babies, we probably will get cribs. Video game consoles, they do exist, but they're DLC. Same with swing set and buffet table. Features from the Sims 2 base game, not yet added to the Sims 4. Complex genetics, recessive and dominant genes. Again, it says not yet added. We're never gonna get that. Like, the genetics is set, it was created how it was created, and I don't think it's ever going to change. More intricate memory system. Yes, we need that. But you heard my reasons earlier why I don't think we'll get it. Wants and fears replaced by whims. Aspirations that change behavior. Now they're just a checklist. No kidding. Private schools. Games for children like Mary Mac and Cops and Robbers. Games that all Sims can play like Kicky Bag, Punch You, Punch Me, and Red Hands. Grocery and clothing stores that your Sims can actually go into and shop. Magazine and video game stores as well. Changing booths and woohoo while trying on clothes. Cinematics, so the cut scenes. Storytelling features. I'm not exactly sure what, I think that means like the album that you could do with The Sims 2. Pinball machine and dartboard. There is a dartboard, but it's DLC. And then we have features from the Sims 3 base game, not yet added to The Sims 4. Open world. We're not getting open world in The Sims 4. It's not gonna happen. Story progression. Luckily, we can have story progression with MC Command Center, but there's no official story progression in the game, so console players and people who don't use mods can't have story progression. Create a world, we talked about that. Swimmable water in all worlds. Create a style and color wheel. Again, that's something I don't think we're gonna get. Option to set the length of each life stage would be really nice. You can do this with mods, but there's no way to do it in the game. Slider for skin tones, we did get this. This is one item on the list we did get. Eyelash length. Yeah, they did nothing with the horrible eyelashes. We also got an opacity slider for makeup. Those both came in the most recent skin tone update in December. Body hair we still don't have. That's another feature I'd really like. More customizable tattoos. 5 traits per sim. Yeah, that's not happening either. Traits that change the behavior and autonomy of Sims. Yep. Lifetime wishes. Well, we have aspirations, so I think that's kind of the same. We don't have favorites like food, music, and color. We don't have rabbit hole workplaces that you can actually see your Sims go into, although their workplaces are rabbit holes. Ownable cars, we talked about that. Confess to cheating. Yes, I would love to have confess to cheating back. Picnic baskets. Bicycles and fire pits. These do exist in the game, but they're DLC exclusive. So that was a huge list of everything that The Sims 4 does not have. Now I would like to say I have been filming this video in front of a live studio audience. I've been filming this video on Twitch with a lot of input from my viewers, and I want to kind of hand it over to them and listen to some of their suggestions. So what are some of the things you guys in chat think that we are missing? Is there anything that we haven't touched on? So what we've got the chat saying here is, let's see, scare your ghost, prom. Yes, thank you, prom. Gender preferences. I think that would be part of attraction, but yeah, I agree with that. Nectar making. We do have juice though, yeah. Strollers, yes, thank you. I'd love to have strollers back. Sexualities. I'm hoping that'll be part of a new attraction system that we get. Online dating. Oh, I love that idea. Online dating. Band and more instruments. Yes, definitely band and more generations. Yes, thank you, Carson, for that. Skill trees for supernaturals. Werewolves. Melba. Yes. Let's see. Definitely bands. I would like to have bands with an actual singer, because that's not something we've ever been able to have before. Pizza oven. More autonomous interactions. I agree with that. And more wacky NPCs. I agree with that too. Let's bring back the humor, you know? Let's see. Extended family members. Musical artist careers. Funerals. You can use a mod to get funerals, but yeah, I definitely think if they were added into the game, that would be nice. More animals, more sports. Yes, I would love to have more sports too. More party types like funeral, bachelorette. Bonehilda. Let's hear it for Bonehilda. Yes. More occults like werewolves and fairies. I completely agree, Sammy. We need more occults. Teens that look like teens with teen-only interactions. I would love that, and I would love teen-only clothing and elder-only clothing. It really bothers me how they all use the same clothes. So your sim is a teenager wearing like a belly shirt and booty shorts. She's still wearing the same thing as an elder. You've seen those townies that haven't had any clothing changes since they were teens. Yeah, it's bad. More events like baby showers and funerals, strollers, sickness. I would like better sickness too. And cemeteries, yeah. I mean, you can make your own cemeteries, but I know what you mean. Those are all really good ideas. So just from the chat here and everything that we've talked about in this video, you can see how much we're still missing even 6 years in, and how much these things kind of mean to us, because we're so used to them from the previous games. We loved them in the previous games, and now we would love to have them back in The Sims 4. I'm going to be really curious to see what 2021 is bringing us for The Sims 4, and I'm going to do another list like this at the end of 2021, and I'll be interested to look back at this one and see how much they actually gave us over the year. So now I want to hear from you. Leave a comment down below and let me know, what do you think is still missing from the game after 6 years? My name is Cindy, and I will see you with a new video very soon. Thank you so much for watching, and also thank you to my Twitch viewers who helped me out tremendously with this video. Thanks, guys.